Hi, this is Andre from SNSD Motorsport. Today I'm going to talk about how to load the latest update into your ECU. This will be the update for January of 2023. You can see in the MoTeC change log that will be in a file that I'll send with your license and blank calibration to update into. This will be updating from version 35 and 58. We are going to reset with 1.02.0001 Rev C. That'll be the newest for January of 2023. If you want to read over this, there's also a video that I did previously that explains the differences from these older versions to the newer version to see what things you'll be gaining. And then also, these are all of the things that you should be checking every single function before you go to the racetrack and expect everything to work after you do the update. So to get started, you need to get a hold of me to get a license for this new update. And this license, when I send you the email, will look like this for the file, license for M1 with your serial number. And then there'll also be a firmware change log. This will be a package, like our release package. So you will want to install this archive to update into. Also, the Liberty notes and instructions, if you've got a Liberty transmission, I want to look those over. That would be good. So to get started, save all of the files from your email to a folder, any folder. Then you're going to want to install license. So you're just going to double click on it, and then you will get a MoTeC extract install archive. And you're just going to want to click yes. So this will put the archive, or this will put the license into an archive on your laptop. So that way, the next time you plug into the ECU, it will put that license into it, and you'll be good to go from there on out. You're also going to want to do the same thing for this package here. Double click on it, ask if you want install archive, say yes, close, and then also just open up the MoTeC firmware changelog to keep open in the background so you can kind of have a checklist as to what to go through after you update. Minimize that. And then we're going to open up M1 Tune. You can either connect to your car or load the latest calibration. And then in the top right hand corner, since you installed the archive for that new firmware, you'll get a notification that says a firmware upgrade is available. And click on that. You're only going to have one thing here, and if nothing shows up at all, if it looks like that, make sure you click this Show Major Revisions checkbox. And so you're going to want to make sure that the version that you hop into is 1.02.0001 Rev C, but this should be the only one in there. So I'm going to click on that version and then click Migrate. You get a pop-up saying that you're going to need an updated license to accept the migrated package. So that was the license that you installed the archive for earlier. Click OK. And so now here is a migration summary, which just shows everything that has been added. And you can see it says it's been added and may need to be tuned. So this can also serve as a checklist of things that you should check before you go to the racetrack. Um, there's a lot of driver switches for the Liberty transmission. This does not concern you unless you have a Liberty transmission. But you can see that transmission soft lock, and suspension travel 0, index switch, and all like the nitrous kits should all be looked at. So we're just going to go ahead and close that. Everything looks good. And we're going to save it as a new file. We'll go ahead and do after update. Okay. Then we're going to go into an all calibrate and pull up our changelog list and then start going over all of the things that have changed just to double check that we are still in good shape. So the first thing being the Liberty transmission. So we'll go ahead and just open that up and make sure that it's either turned on or off, whether we want it or not. So in this case, Liberty enable not in use, which is what we want because we've got a Turbo 400 in this setup. Suspension travel reset switch. So you're going to want to connect this to your trans brake. So driver suspension travel 0 switch. So in most cases, driver switch 6 is going to be your trans brake switch. You'll want to double check that this goes on and off when you push your trans brake switch, depending on what your setup is. But it should be 6, especially if it's a newer build. So that's good to go. That's all you have to check for the transmission or the suspension travel reset. We've got transmission soft lock table added. So you can go down to transmission soft lockup and then check out that. Make sure that it's not in use if you're not using it. And if you are using it, it'll look just like an aux table. You go through here and set up all your settings. And then also make sure that your enable is enabled if you want it turned on. If you want it turned off, disable it. The next thing you're going to look at is the enable disable drop down to all functions that use an aux table layout, like nitrous tables, lockup, water injection, etc. So transmission shift is going to have something like that, an enable disable here. So you're going to want to make sure that all of these get enabled if you're using them. That's going to go the same for all of your nitrous kits. They're all going to be disabled, so better come back in here and enable them before you load the calibration into your car. So those are all enabled, good to go. Next thing you're gonna check, ambient density altitude measurement added. So just gonna make sure that that's not assigned to anything, not in use, and then also the water drains not in use. And then the Davis group is added. So for the Davis stuff, that was going to depend on how your CAN settings are, and also if you have not recently updated settings in your Davis VPS, we will have to update those if you want this to work. So we will need to get the base ID on the ECU to match the base ID on the VPS itself, and also get the correct CAN bus setting. And then you're going to have to add these to your logger if you want to watch them. So this will be something that you'll just want to get a hold of me of if you need help setting up your Davis. We can do that remotely with the LCD screen simulator from Davis's website. Just let me know and I'll send you a link and we can log in and get that all set up so it talks together and works well. But that should be all for this update of January 2023. If you have any questions.